Just want to take a minute. This was kind of an update of the pasture that I grazed really hard. This was about 560 head on 3-acre moves, and this was last time this year, or this time of year, a year ago is when I laid all this down, and I really impacted it. It got rained on. You can see the fillery in here pretty thick, but what you'll see is the fence line. You can see the light green. This was loosely grazed. Not very intensive. This is fillery over here, the red that you can see. But what you'll see is if you look down, you'll see all this bunch grass coming up. These perennials are really cranking off. You can see those long perennials over there. You know, a lot of purple needle grass cranking up. And there's just a lot of bunch grasses and perennials coming up through this now that are starting to establish. You can just see them over there, over there. They're kind of all over this landscape here, and they're really cranking. You can see it right there. And there's just a lot of little plants just taking off now. And so that's kind of neat to see. It's kind of showing me that these perennials don't like annual competition, because right when you come to the light color, which you can see over here, this was a loosely grazed piece of country, and there's not much in terms of bunch grasses. A lot of annuals. Here's a little needle grass here, but in terms of plant species, I think most of this is all annual grasses and clovers, and you don't see the bunch grasses. Here's a little piece of a purple needlegrass, but it's just not able to get a lot of sunlight, so it's kind of getting choked out, I think, because these annuals come in so thick. But we really laid it down and knocked the heck out of it on this side, and you can really see these perennials now. These are, I don't know what that is, but these are all perennial grasses cranking off here now. And so here's your needle grass, and it's really jumped up because it gets to capture the sunlight. And if you just put most of that tall stuff that you see are your perennial grasses. So it's kind of interesting. I just thought I'd give you an update. This was about 2 inches tall last time I came in here to check things, and now we've got a lot of cool plants kind of going and taking off around here. So anyway, just something to look at. You can see the fence line here and all these bunch grasses over here. A lot of them cranking up and getting some sunlight, but I don't see that. I mean, once you see it here, I mean, here's your purple needle grass, and then you come right across the fence and you just can't see it. I mean, that's fillery. I just don't see the bunch grasses. This is all annual stuff. So it's just kind of interesting to see what we're doing to kind of change the plant species and allow this. I mean, you can just see it right against the fence line here, how much these bunch grasses, they're all pretty interesting to see. That's fillery there. Yeah, but that's a perennial down in there. A lot of interesting. I mean, that's a pretty good old crown right there. Starting to wake things up. I don't know what that is. So, I mean, you got some pretty good stuff going to seed. That's all perennial stuff there. Pretty big plants, really. When you look across there, you can see all the purple stems poking up. And that's your bunch grasses. So it's kind of interesting. You don't see that on the other side very much. You know, that's just mostly annual grasses. Here's a little piece here That's right here on the fence line. It's just kind of interesting. As soon as you swing over here, you can see all the purple big tine grasses. Kind of interesting. This is what I do.